Namaste. It's been a while since I did a monologue, so I thought it would be a good idea to go for one today. I recently finished reading three books. The names of the books are Islamic Exceptionalism by Shadi Hamid, Islam and the Future of Tolerance by Maajid Nawaz and Sam Harris, and Heretic by Ayaan Hirsi Ali. I'm going to talk about some of the aspects of all the three books, and I'll be sharing my views on what they have written in these three books. So let's start with Islamic Exceptionalism by Shadi Hamid. Actually, I would recommend everyone to read all the three books, but especially this one because, in fact, as Indians or non Westerners, we could actually relate to what he's saying. I don't mean to say that we can understand the Islamic point of view, but being a non Westerner, it's actually kind of interesting what he's trying to do in this book. This book is basically Shadi Hamid's way of explaining the Islamic world and the struggles of the Islamic world to the Western audience. So, the key aspects that I took from this book are how there is a tussle between Islam and the concept of democracy itself. The second point is the lack of understanding in the West and how to sell democracy to Islamic societies. There also is an bearing urge on both sides, the Islamic as well as the secular side within Islamic societies, in homogenizing the discourse. So, the secularists in Islamic societies are not the secularists that you find, say, in America or even in India. These are militant secularists. So, even secularism is kind of imposed on the society in a very fierce way. Another point was a deep discomfort with diversity, which is kind of inbuilt in all Abrahamite societies. I believe it is there in the Western societies too, although some of the Westerners who might listen to this may disagree. The most important aspect of this book that Shadi Hamid has written was a concept of gradualism, that he has basically tried to show this system where Islamists are actually participating in the political process because they believe that for their goal, which is the ultimate goal of any Islamic person, is the goal of achieving a fully Islamized society. That if they don't participate in the political process, they just stay in the sidelines. So that's the reason they fight the elections. And their hope is that eventually they will Islamize the entire society by using democracy or using elections. Now, my problem with the book was that Shadi Hamid states the problem. He basically explains it that, okay, we have this problem, we have that problem in Islamic societies, but he does not mention what could be a possible way out of this conundrum, which I found interesting. It was as if he has written a whole book of these are the problems in Islamic societies, and then he's like, I don't know what to do. It's actually, that's what he's saying, that this is what you have right now and you're stuck in it for a long time, so kind of buckle up. I have always wondered myself, what is the solution to this over religiosity in Islamic societies, other than soft marketing of other ideas? Let's take the example of Pakistan. Bollywood or Hindi cinema is a huge influence on Pakistan. You may not want to listen to that reality if you're a Pakistani, but it is. I also find it amusing, and this is a trend in all Western Islamic reformers or I don't know, you can use whatever word you want to use, that they basically do not even consider Indian Muslims. Indian Muslims, for me, are the most interesting study group if you were a research scholar, because I believe they're the second highest population of Muslims in the world is in India, and amongst Muslim populations worldwide, I believe Indian Muslims are the least radicalized. Even if we look at the number of people who go to IS, I know the immediate reply will be, oh, they have a jihad at home, that's why they're not going to IS. I recognize that. In fact, I fully agree to that point of view. But still, in terms of levels of radicalization, at least in my interactions whenever I have met Muslims of different ethnicities, I have realized that there is a far more radical element in Muslims, in Islamic societies, or in Pakistani Muslims in terms of a comparison to Indian Muslims. So whatever be the case, I think Shadi Hamid missed a major boat there by not even studying Indian Muslims, and I hope he does that in the future. Now I want to talk about the second book, that is Islam and the Future of Tolerance by Sam Harris and Maajid Nawaz. So basically, this book talks about different kinds of concepts that Maajid Nawaz wants to explain. Basically, it's he calls it Islamism, which is, an Islamist way of imposing Islam on the society through politics. But I really appreciate the open manner in which both of them have expressed their point of view. Sam Harris's point of view is pretty standard. I mean, it's the same typical Western atheist, who has problem with religion, who takes religion too seriously, which most atheists do, and they find it unbelievable that people can have a kind of a, I don't know, on and off kind of a system when it comes to religion. Oh, anyway, so what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So Maajid Nawaz, I think the focus of this book should be what Maajid Nawaz wants to say, and this is why this book is very important. Because the moment, just imagine if you're in a, you are with some people in a dining table and you just utter the word Islam. I mean, that word itself has become so toxic that you cannot have a sane discussion about Islam, Islamism, jihadism without someone calling you names, or somebody calling you a fascist, or I don't know, extremist, or whatever new word they come up with. So in that sense, I would like to give special credit to Maajid Nawaz. He comes across as a guy who is genuinely concerned about what is happening in the Islamic world and is trying to solve this problem, in all earnestness. The key takeaway in this book for me was Maajid Nawaz and his mental gymnastics. Now, mental gymnastics, according to me, is a good thing. Maajid Nawaz comes up with alternative interpretations for concepts like alcohol consumption, concept of apostasy, in fact, the term kafir itself. Now, I'm being very clear. The book does not give an indication as to what percentage of the Muslim population actually follows these interpretations. If you ask me, I personally feel a very small percentage must be following these interpretations. The second good aspect, which I'm really happy because Muslim reformers now are consistently talking about this, is they keep on talking about the Mutazilites and how it is very important that there should be a revival in the form of a neo-Mutazilite movement. The Mutazilites were the rationalists in the Islamic world, so they had this concept that the Quran should not be interpreted literally. So they had this difference between aql and naql. So the Mutazilites believed in using their aql when they interpret the Quran and not blatantly copy it. And I've also read somewhere that the Mutazilites were against the hadith and the seerah. At least that's what I remember. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Now, there are different ways and methods that Maajid Nawaz has mentioned in the book, but in fact, if you connect it to what Shadi Hamid spoke in his book, so Maajid Nawaz also believes in the strategy of gradualism. The only difference is Maajid Nawaz believes in gradually converting Islamic societies to the secular side, and Shadi Hamid says the Islamists want to gradually convert Islamic societies into a full-blown Dar al-Islam. So Maajid Nawaz's pitch for democracy in Islamic societies is on the basis of pluralism in Islamic interpretations. This is a very good idea. In fact, what he's trying to say is because there are so many various interpretations within the Islamic world itself, that the only way for an Islamic society to survive is democracy. Now, someone may call Maajid Nawaz, a dreamer, an impractical guy, but my question to everyone is, what else can one do when they are confronted with something as mammoth as Islamism? And I sincerely hope that folks like Maajid Nawaz keep doing what they're doing. One more thing is that, reformers, all these reformers, whether it's Shadi Hamid or Maajid Nawaz or Tariq Fatah or Ali Amjad Rizvi or some of the reformers in India like Tufail Ahmed, they are only from societies where democracy is already the norm. The key challenge is, how does one transfer this undercurrent to mainstream Islamic societies? Now that's a big challenge. Maybe that is happening At least I'm not aware of it in a large scale. Anyways, I would recommend you guys to read this book. Now we come to the final book, and that is Heretic by Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Now, if you've not read the Quran and want a quick and a short gist of Islam and its core tenets, I think this book will help you the most. Ayan's focus is basically revolving around how Islam is in dire need of reform, and she believes in a way it is happening right now. According to her, and I'm just going to read the 5 things that need to be reformed right from the book. So, number 1, Muhammad's semi divine and infallible status, along with the literalist reading of the Quran, particularly those parts that were revealed in Medina. So, in the Quran, you have the Meccan verses and the Medinan verses. So, she says the problematic verses, you'll find all the problematic verses in the Medinan verses. The second point she says is the investment in life after death instead of life before death. Now, this is a very important thing. And in fact, Russell Peters had cracked a joke about this once, that you can't intimidate a person who's a suicide bomber, because normally how we intimidate people is, you go and say, oh, I'm going to kill you. But how do you say I'm going to kill you to a suicide bomber? He's going to say, I'm going to kill myself and I'm going to kill you. So and she's very right when she says this concept of life after death has to be diluted. People in the Islamic world need to be taught that life before death is what matters. Third point, Sharia, the body of legislation derived from the Quran, the Hadith, and the rest of Islamic jurisprudence, that needs to go. Fourth, the practice of empowering individuals to enforce Islamic law by commanding right and forbidding wrong. 5, the imperative to wage jihad or holy war. Now, I don't know how they're going to, abandon the concept of jihad itself. What they need to do is, and I believe some of the reformers in Islam are trying to say, oh, jihad is not a war concept, it is the inner struggle. Well, if they're able to convince the Islamic world that it is an inner struggle, good for them. But I would be more than happy if the concept of jihad gets completely scrapped. Now, as per Ayaan, these concepts either need to be completely discarded or reformed in a major way. Like I said, this is the interesting part of the book. Ayaan Hirsi Ali basically divides Islamic societies or Muslims into 3 broad categories. The first category, she says, are the Medina Muslims, or what I call them the crazy people. Now, these are the folks who are willing to kill in the name of Islam, like the jihadists, or are hardcore Islamists who believe everything that the jihadist does, but they just don't carry it out in a violent manner. Now, these folks have a vision of a society based on Sharia. They want their way of life imposed on everyone, and that way of life is basically following a very strict 7th century version of Islam. The second group is the Mecca Muslims, or what I call the varying degrees of nominal Muslims. Now, these are folks who are loyal to the basic rules of Islam in varying degrees. So, you might have a nominal Muslim who is a nice guy but prays 5 times a day. You might have a nominal Muslim who just, celebrates Eid and does not pray at all. You might even have a nominal Muslim that has alcohol. Now, you might say, how can he be a Muslim if he has alcohol? Well, you have a lot of Hindus also who do some activities that may not be Hindu. But yeah, Islam is very strict, Hinduism is not. So yeah, I understand that. But still, these are all people who are basically, they're not inclined to practice violence or even intolerance towards non-Muslims. So these are all the nominal Muslims. The third group, she says, are the modifying Muslims, or what I call them, the reformers or the mental gymnastics Muslims. I once again repeat, mental gymnastics is a good thing, guys. Let us stop insulting people by saying, oh, you're just using mental gymnastics. So what do you want to do? I mean, there are 1 billion plus Muslims in this world. They're not going to leave their religion at the snap just like that. You have to encourage mental gymnastics. The way we have to help them is that when they say, oh, no, this book says this and this book says that, we could just say, okay, I don't agree with you, but yeah, best of luck. Now, these reformers, as per Ayaan Hirsi Ali, they promote secularism and other reforms. And there's a wide range of these guys. I mean, some of them are atheists. But from what I have seen or followed on social media. Most of them are theists, and actually some of them are Maulvis too, which is kind of interesting. What I've liked about the book is that Ayan has, somewhat diluted her stance from the past. If anybody has read her book Infidel, you'll realize that in that book, I think she said that you have to abandon Islam altogether. Maybe people should become Christians, and I thought that was a silly suggestion because yeah, right, 1 billion people are just going to leave everything, and suddenly everything is going to be hunky dory. Now she's changed her stance, and she basically states three reasons for her being positive about a reformation in the Islamic world. So again, I'm going to read 3 points off of her book. Number one was the impact of information technology that is creating an unprecedented communication network across the Muslim world. The second is the fundamental inability of Islamists to deliver when they come to power, and the impact of Western norms on Muslim immigrants are creating a new and growing constituency for a Muslim reformation. Like I said, even in the case of India and Pakistan, if you see, Hindi cinema has a huge influence on Pakistan. The third is the emergence of a political constituency for religious reform emerging in key Middle Eastern states. So now that I've gone through all the major points of the books, I want to end with an observation. Again, and I'm reiterating this point, each and every author of all these three books are obsessed with the Middle East and Pakistan. They are not paying attention to India and Indian Muslims. And I once again repeat, if you want to solve the Islamic problem, if you want to have any hope of any solution for this problem, India and the Indian model is the only solution. Whether it's Sam Harris, whether it's Maajid Nawaz, whether it's Ayaan Hirsi Ali, they are obsessed with this concept of tolerance. Tolerance will not get you anywhere. You're not going to find a solution with tolerance. The only way is the Indian way, where Abrahamic religions will have to get rid of their exclusivism. Abrahamic religions will have to let go of their proselytization, and they will basically have to come to terms with the Hindu way, which is all paths are valid. If they follow that, that is the only hope out of this. Now, the good thing is, in India, you do find some of these places, although they are very minuscule and they are a minority, but that's our only hope. If people get rid of these exclusivist terms and conditions in Abrahamic religions, we can go a long way. Hopefully, in the next 100 years, Muslims will also stop taking their religion seriously, like Hindus, Christians, and a lot of other people have done that. So that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoy this. Goodbye.